Hello everyone and welcome back to Dragon Cars Movie Vault. I know it's been a while since I have put out an episode, but can you blame me? After all, I've been working on my new pad. Not much difference, is there? Well, anyways, I also want to thank all the folk who were involved in making episode 50, and I also want to thank all the folk who watched it and, gave me some decent comments about it. So, if you're one of those few people that actually did watch it, I do thank you. And, well, here's to another 50, eh? It's not like anyone's watching, so let's carry on, eh? Now, today, it's time.
This week on Dragon Cars Movie Vault, what is said to be one of the worst movies of all time. What is said to be the worst movie of all time. Plan 9 from Outer Space. In a world.
I always wanted to say that. Plan 9 from Outer Space, the original title of the movie being Grave Robbers from Outer Space, is a 1959 science fiction horror film from director Edward D. Wood Jr. It has gained a reputation as being the worst movie ever made due to its unintentional hilarity. Edward D. Wood Jr. would later be named the worst director of all time by many critics. So yeah, a movie that is said to be the worst movie of all time? I have to review this, right? I mean, why the fuck not? It's done by Ed fucking Wood, I mean, for Christ's sake, this is coming from the director of fucking Orgy of the Dead. But yeah, this movie has been widely regarded as one of the worst movies of all time, but it's also been widely regarded as one of the funniest. Now, why has this movie been said to be so funny that it's maintained cult status? I'll tell you why. Number one, right? Actually, I need a DVD case for this. Number one, it claims to star Bela Lugosi, which is kinda true, I think. Well, it is kinda true that he's in the movie, but at the same time, he isn't. It's like this, right? Not long before Bela Lugosi died, Ed Wood shot footage of Bela Lugosi, silent footage. There was footage of him in his cape outside a cemetery, footage of him in a cemetery with a bunch of other people around a grave crying, footage of him going in and out of Tor Johnson's house, I know that doesn't sound right, in his cape, footage of him outside his house smelling flowers, and that's about it really. So basically what happened was, it was originally intended for another film, and then Ed Wood, after Bela Lugosi died, wrote it into a script originally called Grave Robbers from Outer Space. Essentially, what happened was he incorporated those shots into Plan 9, and then he got a double to come in to fill in the role. And to cover up his face, he did this with the cape throughout a good portion of the fucking movie. Basically what Ed Wood was trying to do was trying to make him look creepy with the cape up like this and shit covering his face. It's like, ooh. And that is not scary. It is one of the most cliched things that you could possibly do in a movie. And he did it, and thought it was a good idea. It's like Ed Wood was in his own little fucking world with this movie. But what is bloody hilarious about this is that he thought it was going to be fucking scary. Even the DVD itself has the balls to say it contains mild violence and horror. Ooh, like there's any fucking horror to be found in this movie. The next problem is that there are so many fucking, like, if you will, like, set errors. For example, there's a scene where Tor Johnson turns into a zombie and he tries to climb out of his grave and he clearly gets stuck, and then in the next shot he's all of a sudden out of the grave. It's clearly like he got stuck and he was like, oh shit, go help him out, would you? Pull him out, and then then they just went like, okay, film again. It's like, oh, we'll get away with it, it's not like anyone would notice. Like, Tor Johnson himself cannot act. You can't understand a word he's saying. Seriously, this guy has one of the worst dialects I've heard in any movie. I mean, with Jackie Chan, he learned how to speak English and you could understand him. You know, with Tommy Wiseau, fuck knows what accent he has, but you could understand the guy most of the time. Jean-Claude Van Damme, you could at least understand him. With Tor Johnson, I could barely understand the guy. I didn't know what he was saying. It's just like, I needed subtitles, but guess what? The DVD doesn't have any. Fucking DVDs? I mean, what do I expect when I buy a DVD at a Poundland? He also knocks people out by slapping them on their shoulders. Don't know how that works. Also, the other ghoul in the movie is played by Vampira, who's probably the creepiest thing in the movie, and she kills people by doing this. There's also the infamous fucking flying saucers. These flying saucers, fuck knows what they're made out of, whether it's paper plates or hubcaps or plastic models or whatever. What is hilarious is the fact that they're always wobbling around. Like, they'll be floating around. Like, in most movies they'll just be like this. But in this movie though, it's fucking hilarious, it really is. Not only that, you can see the fucking strings, and they cast shadows on the backdrops. My god. You know? Not only that, some of the dialogue is just fucking retarded. For example, the movie opens up with an intro from a psychic called Criswell, right? And he says this line, "Future events such as these will affect you in the future." How does that make any sense? And not only that, there's a line where the guy goes, "It was shaped like a huge cigar." He's all referring to the flying saucer. He saw it from like, you know, he saw it flying by, wobbling about. How the fuck does it look like a cigar? Not to mention, the flying saucers in this movie, when they do tilt at an angle, they just look like fucking hubcaps. You know what I mean? The overall plot of the movie, essentially, is, well, there's a bunch of aliens come down and they're all like, ha ha ha, we're gonna resurrect the dead and fucking cause mass hysteria, and they resurrect 3 zombies. 3 zombies. 3 zombies. 3 fucking zombies! 3! Do you think that's gonna do anything, guys? You know, it's like, it makes no fucking sense. The aliens look like just regular humans wearing pyjamas, for fuck's sake. Yeah, these are fucking scary guys. Christ, the guys from Invaders from Mars were scarier than this. There's also a scene in a cockpit, right? And what happens is, there's a scene where they like collide with one of the flying saucers, right? And then of course the set shakes, and you can see a shadow of a boom mic for a second, which is just fucking brilliant. Oh. So, ladies and gentlemen, I give you what is said to be the worst movie of all time. But I don't think it's the worst movie of all time because, well, I can laugh at the movie. I can at least feel, oh my god, this movie is so bad, you know? I will admit there are funnier bad movies out there, like The Room and fucking Undefeatable. But this movie is still quite funny. So if you manage to find a copy of this for cheap, I would recommend watching it just because it is so stupid. And you know what? File it under comedy. Don't file it under fucking science fiction. File it under fucking comedy. That's where it belongs if you file in genre, that. I file alphabetically. Thank you very much for watching this particular episode of Dragon Kai's Movie Vault. And to all I bid you, good night.